ended up buying this bike. I learned on a KLR 650, and then I ended up buying a Sportster. After the Sportster died, I stopped riding for a little bit. My family was growing, and it just wasn't really a priority at that time. I had to focus more on working and making money, doing that sort of stuff. So kind of took a little break on riding. But my brother, he started learning the same time I did back in 2013, and he kept riding the whole time. So he ended up joining the American Legion, and he started doing the American Legion riders, and he asked me if I wanted to get another bike and then join the Sons so that him and I could ride together. And at that same time, I was working with two ladies, and we were talking about riding, and they both had always wanted to ride, but they just never did or hadn't learned. And so I guess just us talking about it so much, one of them just went out and bought a bike like immediately. So she bought a bike, and then my other co-worker, she bought a bike right after that. So then I was the only one who didn't have a bike. So I started looking, and you know, I kind of wanted to get another Harley, to be honest, but the prices have just skyrocketed, and I wasn't going to spend $5 or $6 grand on a Sportster. So I found this bike. It was $3,500. So 2009, $3,500. Only had 4,000 miles on it, so the price point was good. Man, this is a nice road. Yeah, the price point was good, so it was perfect. That's what I wanted to spend, like $3,500. I didn't want to spend any more than that. I got too much stuff going on to be dropping, you know, $6,000-$7,000 on a motorcycle. So I ended up picking it up, and look, I'm happy with this bike. It's, I like the way it looks. I already owned a Kawasaki before, so I was happy with the KLR. I love the KLR. The funny thing about the KLR is I didn't even really want to, like, I had no desire to get an Enduro. I just bought that bike so I can learn how to ride, and I bought it from a friend of a friend, so it only cost me $1,000. So it was like perfect, exactly what I wanted. $1,000, learn how to ride, cool. I'll ride this for a few months and then dump it. Man, I fell in love with the Kawasaki. That bike was so much fun, especially out here. So like, look where we're at. You know, we're out in the desert. So I'd be riding, and then, oh, you see a dirt road? Cool. Let me just pop off this dirt road and go, you know, go hang out in the desert. So I would just ride and go out on the res, or just find dirt roads, little trails, and just have fun. I honestly miss that bike. If I do decide to buy another bike, it's going to be another Enduro. And it probably, if it's not a KLR 650, it might be one that's a little bit lighter and a little bit smaller, because my brother had an XT 250, and that thing would smoke my KLR off-road. That thing was, you could take anywhere. The KLR, you can still take it most places, but just the weight going up some of these steep hills, like, it was a little sketchy. But yeah, it's just a great bike. So I saw this Kawasaki. It's a 900. 900's fine. It's not the most power, but it's enough for what I need the bike to do. The only thing I don't like about the 900 is it's only got 5 gears. So when you're really hauling on the freeway, if you're going, you know, 90 plus, it sounds all revved out. Now I don't have, I have stock pipes on it, so I don't really have that problem where it's super loud, but it would be nice to have a 6 gear and take some of that pressure off of the engine. Yeah, I understand why these bikes are less expensive. There's a lot of plastic on this bike, like a lot of plastic. The front fender's plastic, the back fender's plastic, the headlight is plastic, the cluster here, that's all plastic. So the fit and finish on a Harley is 1,000 times better than this bike. But hey, you don't have a lot of money, whatever, get a Kawasaki, learn how to ride. And then get your, dream bike later. And look, I'm a fan when you get a motorcycle. I am a huge fan. Man, this is cool back here. Shit. I'm a huge fan of buying used, not buying a brand new bike. Because so many people think they want to ride motorcycles, then they buy one, and then they don't ride it. And it sits in their garage for 5 or 6 years, and then they end up selling it for a fraction of the price, and it has no miles on it. So yeah, you might get a used bike. It's 5, 6, 10 years old, and it has under 5,000 miles. But you can't beat that. So to go out and buy a brand new bike, to me it doesn't make sense. Unless it's the bike that you want to keep the rest of your life. But if you're just getting into motorcycling, man, buy a cheap bike off Craigslist, off Marketplace, something like that, because you're going to save a ton of money. You just got to have the capital to put down in the first place. So save up $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and then look online, instead of going and getting something and then trading it in later. I mean, do whatever you want, I don't care, but that's me. I love just going on there, finding a used bike that somebody just left it in their garage, and alright, cool, here's $3,000. Oh damn, there's a bunch of rocks on here. I don't even know where I'm going. Maybe I should turn around. Getting into dirt roads. Oh yeah, this is all dirt road. Alright, let's turn around. Oh, that's a cool little ride back here, shoot. So here's another thing too. Let's say you've never ridden before. I feel like it's important to buy the used bike, even if whoever you buy it from has to deliver it to your house. I'm a fan of getting the bike you want, having them deliver it to your house, and then do that. Well, here it's called Team Arizona. Take the safety course to get your endorsement. Take the safety course, get your endorsement, and then you have the bike to practice on. Is this a road? No, that ain't it. So then you have the bike at the house to practice on. It'll help you because, a week becomes a month, becomes 6 months, becomes a year. You want to be fresh on your training when you start to ride. You don't want to be 6 months out from the safety course because you were just taking your time on buying a motorcycle. So that's the way I think you should do it. That's what I did, and it helped me quite a bit. So I bought my KLR before I even had my endorsement. We trailered it back to my, I was living in an apartment at the time. We trailered it back to my apartment. It sat at the apartment for maybe a month or 2. I don't even remember. I think it was faster than that. I took the class, and then once I took the class, I immediately started practicing. And when I started practicing, I would just ride to work. So no freeway, just ride down the street to work. Back and forth every day. And then, on the weekends, I would go just ride around town, just ride somewhere. Just kind of like what I'm doing right now. I would just go ride for 15, 20 minutes just to get the feel of the bike. And then, it's funny, when I finally did get on the freeway, I got on the freeway and I didn't have any kind of fairing on the KLR, so the wind was super, like, I wasn't used to it yet. So I got on the freeway, and then I think I got off on the next exit because I was like, oh wow, that, I didn't like that. So yeah, I mean, do what's comfortable for you. And obviously after whatever, a couple of months, I was riding wherever I wanted, it was fine. But it's that consistency that's going to get you comfortable and get you out there on the road. Alright. Well, I hope the audio is okay on this. If it's not, I guess we'll figure it out a different way, but thanks for stopping in and checking out the video. Be safe. Alright, take care.